and a warm welcome to the super gourmet edition of Lufthansa First Class, a flight from Tokyo Haneda to Frankfurt with the sponsored caterer from Lidl Deluxe. Enjoy the exquisite dining experience on board provided by our exclusive partner, Lidl Deluxe, as you indulge in the finest culinary delights during your journey with us. It is not possible to provide a better description in the future. This is not Get Gourmet, this is Get Lidl Deluxe. That's how you could really describe it in terms of quality. Departure Lufthansa First Class from Haneda. I mean, a high-quality flight. There you are in a fantastic sheltered story, the last bastion, the last service bastion of Lufthansa, the ultimate stronghold and final defense of the airline. That you find employees there in Tokyo who still make an experience out of it. However, this is solely because they personally consider it important to their profession. Otherwise, let's take the whole other world. In Frankfurt on the outbound flight, I hope you saw the flight to Haneda, where you climb stairs and then you are in the outer position with the 747. Can't imagine all of this anymore, despite unenjoyable Lufthansa first-class flights for a while.
To fly first class because many of them want to.
HON family informed me that, for example, the
employees provide a very poor service, have no desire, are frustrated, and the food, the special catering on board a Lufthansa first class is very bad. However, there is still a group of employees who are brilliant and top-notch in the department, and it comprehends how to offer an excellent service for us HON Circle members and first-class guests. You can see that right here now.
I filmed what occurred.
The on-circle driver done. He took my suitcase and carried it upstairs because we were in an outside position. And it was not an issue for him. That is what sets these employees apart and makes them truly outstanding. And one of the best, truly exceptional employees are the individuals from HON Circle Driver Service.
I had the great pleasure of flying from Tokyo. And that was another highlight. A highlight because I found the employees there to be service-oriented. They collected me in a warm and friendly manner. You were sent in an excellent and efficient way. I wanted to go to Frankfurt and then on to Vienna. They did all of that for me accordingly. And they went to the location and executed it with such kindness and professionalism that one truly expressed, here, the happening is truly excellent. Regrettably, I can't always fly to Tokyo, but I would do it in principle. The best option is to always fly to different places from Tokyo in the future. Hope this is still as hope. This highlight will last long, and from this side too. Maybe someone who has already flown from Haneda also knows what's happening there. I was escorted to the first-class lounge by the E&E. It's the familiar old lounge with some small changes. Then there is this classic menu. They are categorized under food and drink at E&E, I would say. Their offerings are of a normal, good standard. This is not overwhelming now. Really, you can't compare it to the old days of the first-class terminal and all. The Asian airports always have a reason for that, which is okay. So you will obtain your burger. However, all of this is in some manner somewhat Asian in nature. And also with this story, you can order sushi, and you can also have your breakfast in the morning, and in the afternoon they offer specials. This lounge is big. You can shower and attend to your business matters. So all the important things are available there. But even the Japanese themselves are more like business fast travelers, and then they sit in their little things and they are also satisfied. They don't want to be pampered at the airport in terms of gourmet food. I believe in the future it will generally disappear. So it's not that you have to do without this gourmet food, this top quality, but rather that it's more about small snacks. A bit of champagne, a bit of water and juices, then it starts. Maybe another tea, a coffee after work. That will certainly change. Also in the VIP area. Because why should one do that? It's about being on the road for a shorter time. So, we're talking now about this story because of the current political situation all over the world, that Lufthansa had to fly over the Arctic and as a result was in the air for over 14 hours. An absolute madness. Worst case, real worst case. This flight story, still 11.5 hours, but back 14 hours and longer. So children, that is unbearable, you know, when you become more mature. So that truly annoyed me. I managed to successfully finish it all in the end. Surprisingly, I wasn't tired. I watched videos back to back, always snacking in between. Something with chips or the rest of the food was inedible. So ultimately, it was also the situation that you were truly in this airport, in this lounge, and then you mentioned, well, at some point the plane will arrive. He was already 1 hour late in total. So it started with him arriving late, which caused the whole flight to be delayed by an hour. Well, I must say it is truly not enjoyable at all. There are instances where you ponder, why do you subject yourself to all of this, correct? I mentioned long-haul flying. I arrange a meeting with the employee. The personal assistant picks me up on time. After that, we proceeded to the check-in area together, and I must say, It was truly impressive. Firstly, at Haneda, they had an outdoor section in this area where all passengers queue up for the security check. Remarkably, there was a staff member holding a sign indicating the end of the line. Typical Tokyo. This is Japan, you won't find that elsewhere. Here in Japan, so there's that. Then I'm done with this fast lane with the personal assistant, and that went through the employee area. 2 minutes, just lounge. Waited there until check-in. I said, lastly, don't want to go into this thing early at all. Just made a few videos on Instagram and TikTok and all these things, yes, because you can also do something funny with them. You can check everything again, what funny, crazy things I've done there. Then we went to this area below where everyone was checking in, and someone was also standing there. First class hot circle. If someone comes in now and not with a personal assistant, which is also available, not everyone wants that, then he just went in and stood there, or the woman, and said, here, if you still need service, we are here and we will take you in. You wouldn't get that from us in Frankfurt, in Munich anymore. There's no more. They call for check-in, say their standard announcement, and then you can go through, and if you're not there, impact. Yes, honestly, this service loss is really tough. Then we went on board. There was a nice crew on board. Truly, that is essentially I consistently receive, regardless of whether it is a business flight or simply another flight now here at Lufthansa First, it is always a pleasant greeting. However, it is no longer the same as before. You simply need to let go of the past, retain it in your memory, but refrain from lamenting about it at present. Instead, confidently declare, let's proceed, let's enter. So this time the first class flight was completely sold out. So I sat at the front at 1K, so 1A or 1K, in that sense 1K. Yes, I received this information. It will take another half an hour longer, so we took off with over an hour at some point. One should also be glad that things are progressing at all. I am obligated to exhibit something to you at this very moment, so this is the design that has been created by Porsche. The affordable item, Porsche design at Lufthansa, is offered as a complimentary gift, featuring small items inside, and is not crafted from high-quality leather or any other premium materials. It is a budget-friendly option that provides value without compromising on style or functionality. Wow, it's getting cheaper. The price is decreasing. I previously mentioned this. The situation is not improving. This is the current state of Lufthansa, the airline company. An affordable brand product featuring the distinctive Porsche Lufthansa logo prominently displayed on its surface. A disposable item. Throw it away and whatever. Pajamas that are too short in the sleeves, even though I now have XL, still too short. No more scarves for us men, only for the women. So my goodness is, I can't say it any other way. You have also lost the high-quality hand cream and face cream product, so you have another company on board. Same with Swiss, La Paris or something like that is also gone. They also have a new narrative now. So you search for more affordable products to further increase your sales. It can only be this way. And I mean, I do not want to assume it, but that is always just my personal impression. I am certain that there are still some employees at Lufthansa, even at the executive level, who express the desire for a good quality in relation to this product and so forth and so on. But they just don't have anything innovative to offer. There is nothing that would be a great joy in any form, something that would be so extraordinary. It is all simply Lidl, Aldi and Company, as I previously mentioned, Aldi Gourmet and Lidl Deluxe, in this particular form and manner. And it appears that the passengers have accepted it. One could clearly see the noticeable difference between Tokyo and Frankfurt. World, one world. I have only cleaned a little bit here, just my equipment. I have disinfected it and everything that I directly touch. But all the other things were really clean, even on the sides, especially when you think about the side by the window, where a lot is always thrown in and also in the small compartments. Everything was clean and there were no crumbs or anything else, and everything else was completely fine. Therefore, if I now also discuss the staff members and the quality of service, it is important to note that the catering provided was truly disappointing and lacked any sense of care or attention to detail. You made an effort to make the most of the situation. However, just because I ordered ice cream at this moment and the ice cream was still in the freezer, it naturally takes a little longer. You can't simply go and say, I put the ice cream on a piece of cake, the frozen piece of ice cream on the cake, and bring it to the guest. But there I go, and carefully place the frozen piece of ice in a separate small plate, and then I creatively decorate it a bit to enhance its visual appeal. All of that was missing there. It was served sober. That was a sober service, as I say, without love. Michael Jackson would have said that too. I express it with affection, even if he occasionally, yes, I am able to say I express it with affection, but it was provided without affection. The employees were still okay. There is nothing worse, there are much worse ones. So from that side, it was okay. And here, interestingly enough, the Porsche come and say, Mr. Schroeder, I also wanted to say hello to you. You want that? I always get croissants there. Really, I get antsy when they find out under the motto, yes, no one else wants to be greeted. They want to be greeted. I never get it. Don't you want a nice friendly hello? For instance, the captain didn't come down also. He was also interested in the fart. When he came down, and now comes the joke. The captain and the pilots came down to refresh themselves in the first class toilet. These are coming down. But that in the end, a small greeting is made to us guests where we already had an hour delay anyway. Well, what's the point? You can just come down, say, man, we're sorry, had this, it was all a bit deep and this. Nothing. They come down to urinate and refresh themselves, take the good creams, and then go back up and say, what is this? What to do with these people? I saw it, so I was there and was then quite surprised who emerged from the toilet. I was there just now. I also had a brief chat with that colleague. And of course, there was also the question I wanted to know because the Forester was full and the business, so the planes sold out. And I said, how come? He said, yes, 2 flights were cancelled before. So the previous flight by Haneda Elsk did not take place. Flight cancellations, all people put on this flight. You have to imagine the situation. He's also arriving late. Then they pack all the people on this one flight so that the thing is completely full. And this is madness. So especially if you can continue to get away with it in the future, then you know how to handle it and then you cancel the flight and then you make profit and revenue again. That's the point. Don't fly half empty. I get it. That's not what I don't understand. But that does have to do with quality and service, etc. Nothing for us guests to do because we pay for it. So I can say roundabout that this flight unfortunately also did not belong to my favorite flights. So it had nothing from the old times. Service technically, yes, loveless, lower standard. The quality of the food, as I previously mentioned, is truly Aldi Gourmet and Lidl. Specifically Lidl Deluxe products. Everything else to increase it now is then the hammer. You know that we took off in the outer position. Now we're coming back after a 14.5-hour flight. The people are tired. Lufthansa in the 747 Boeing. And the question was, where do we actually get off after a nearly 15-hour flight? In the beginning, we land in Frankfurt, and then the main goal is to walk down the stairs in a position outside of the building. Well, the Horn-Sackel chauffeur service in the VW bus is waiting outside, so better than the main bus, but still not better than the pure chauffeur service. And then what occurs? They push the stairs to the business class and not to the first class. That means the first class passenger of Lufthansa is no longer considered valuable. He's required to wait until the business guests have disembarked, has to go through this crowd and walk through the dirt of the business class, and then, if he is fortunate, there is still a horn circle service available in the Volkswagen bus downstairs that will pick him up. This is 747 Lufthansa. Then you arrive there and they bring the plane to an external position. We get the info it's an external position. At cargo they dropped us off. Where the entrance for cargo vehicles is on the right and on the left there was also a cargo plane. And now they did not have any stairs there because it was cargo. And it was even worse. The follow man, that is the follow me guy, was not there. That means, now the captain said, before we can drive into this position, we have to wait for the follow me car. And this follow me car waited an additional 10 minutes. So we were standing on the track in front of the entrance and the follow me car arrived 10 minutes later. Then it drove in and waved to them. Then we stood there, no staircase. Now they had to organize a staircase that looked like a pig. How it looked, really abysmal. They have them, brought them from the last dive bar in the back, which had to be sorted. Now you come out of this plane, you have to walk down this staircase for 14 hours, and it was really warm. So it was extremely hot in Frankfurt. And there were the Con-Circle cars down there, which were 2 VW buses. Next to it were buses and VW buses, no distinction, almost considered could take the bus. Seriously. And of course they were not refrigerated and the doors were closed. So someone stood there and then opened the door and said, we have cooled it a bit for you. No, they were heated like bulls until the air conditioning was working at all afterwards. We were already there.
You were present, truly. I have a picture where I'm sitting there. I sat in the front next to the driver.
And really, I thought I had to control myself so much that I didn't burst into tears. Seriously, I had to engage in self-pleasure. And then it commences. Then I said, can you truly take me directly to the lounge as Hans Sockel and so on and so forth? No. In Frankfurt, you won't be taken to the lounge, but for now, you have to go through the immigration and paperwork just like everyone else. And then I thought, you know what? Then I'll do the following. Then I'll just go before I go to the first, so the lounge. Then I go through the passport, give the passport, go out and go straight to the first class. Why get upset? That's the best. Here's another tip. That was a wise decision. When you arrive, go through this story, and above all, we must consider you'll be sent through security check again. In Frankfurt, through security check, where all go, so for those who can, exit terminal, go back then into first class terminal. There you have this small elite security, yes. So you're through, then you can already enjoy something. And there I met, yes, nice Hound Circle members. Others, we had a very nice chat and all. And one is amazed, one is frightened, and I assume that the number of Horn Circle will more than halve, because many will no longer do that in the future, although that is always relative. This can be a snapshot and then it changes. That depends on whether they are still tinkering with the system when they realize they drew a bad card. I am still convinced that this new system with miles and more is the wrong way. But I'm glad to learn otherwise, but I assume at least 50% of frequent flyers will be halved, so fewer people will fly there, because overall flights are decreasing, not as many anymore. This will become noticeable. However, naturally the visit to the lounges will also be smaller, and from that perspective that is okay. So that means they have a smaller number of these lounges to equip, and will also have a smaller number of drivers, which means they will save personnel, they will have a smaller amount of equipment to distribute. And from the side, that's typical Spa. Yes, so typical savings at Lufthansa, and that brings us to the end of a first-class journey. I personally assume it was my last one at Lufthansa. Of course, there will continue to be the HON PrivateJet in the future. So, lots of info. How does the private chat topic work? Where else can you find good bargains? Especially in training flights, there's openness and maybe a need for information, and it continues to give me excellent pleasure in private, because that will remain the topic for me in Europe. And internationally, I will then fly with Emirates, ENA, Singapore Airlines, as long as they promise that the class you book is actually provided. Lufthansa continues to be Lufthansa, and I hope that all those who keep flying with it have a great time at Aldi Gourmet and Lidl Deluxe. And always remember, getting upset doesn't provide any assistance.